Hey everybody, we're live from the barn, and today we are answering the question, do I have to show in Romals in the ranch classes? So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to a few other thoughts about that. If you have questions as we go along, you are more than welcome to leave them for us, whether you are watching live or whether you are catching the replay, and we will try to get those questions answered for you and make our very best recommendations there. So, I mean, this could be the very shortest Facebook Live we've ever done. Do you have to show in Romals in the ranch classes?
If you want it to be the shortest one, then maybe you should stay on topic.
Okay.
Don't wander off. Focus.
I won't.
Focus.
Okay. One word answer. Do you have to show in Romals in the ranch classes?
No, you do not.
No.
It's a look. It's a fad. There's
and
a lot
function.
of benefits.
There's also a function. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the things, so you don't have to show it. You can show split reins. You can show junior horses and Macatis and Basels. You can show 2 rein for a year. There's options. Mm-hmm. I think, for me, this isn't the exact question, but riding in Romals is just a good way to get your horses broke. Mm-hmm. You know, sit with those things where you can't cheat, you can't use 2 reins, you can't baby them up here and there. And it gets them really broke so that when you go to show, they're between the reins and they go better. Mm-hmm. Is it a rule? No. Is it a look? Yeah, it sure is.
Do you think that, so the second question I usually get is, but everybody else is doing it. Don't I have to do it because everybody's doing it?
You could jump off the bridge with everybody else.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, it's in the rule book.
Yeah.
Lots of horses showing them.
I think
you notice more with the Romals because it's become so popular lately. Mm-hmm. But there has been some awful good horses show at the World Show and do really well that were wearing split reins. I mean, you know, there's definitely a look because as you're moving those horses around, stiffening up that neck rein a little bit definitely makes them look better. I've showed some horses in both, and I think there's a time and a place for it. Mm-hmm. But just because everybody else is doing it, and the only thing I will say though about the tack, I guess this isn't really the Romals. I'll go off on a tangent here, just because you normally do, so I'll take one for the team here.
Okay.
And it's not so much about Romals, but don't argue with the look. I don't know how many times we're at a horse show and somebody's like, well, I want to show in splint boots, or I don't want to ride in back cinches, or, well, this, like, and it says minimal silver, and they want to use their same silver showhead stall. Mm-hmm. Just participate and go with it. The rule is there. If you walk in the pen and it does not say, how is the rule written about back cinches? It's
not a rule. You don't have to. It's in the rule book that it is recommended to have a breast collar and a back cinch.
Right.
And then when it talks about what equipment is legal, you are allowed to show in split reins or Romals or a Basel for horses that are, if you're showing AQHA 5 and under, mm-hmm. or 2 rein for 1 year for a, what do they call it, a level 1 horse. And so it says you can show in any of those things, and the rule book also says it is recommended to have a breast collar and back cinch. One of the reasons why it's recommended to have a breast collar and back cinch is because what the judges are looking for when they look at your ranch horse appearance. So on your scorecard, there's actually a section for ranch horse appearance, and what they're looking for is they want for it to look like when you're in the show pen, you could just walk right out of the door of the show pen and onto the ranch and start working. And if you're going to be working on a ranch, you need to have working equipment. You can't just have a gimmicky looking breast collar and a back cinch that actually isn't going to hold your saddle down. You actually have to have working equipment that looks like it would stand up to the type of work that's done on a ranch. They don't want it dirty. That was a fad for a little while. People thought, oh, just go, just dirty it up. Don't brush your horse, leave your tack dirty, wear a wild rag, whatever. They don't want that. They do want you to look like you're polished and presented to the judge, but they want it to be well-fitted equipment that would actually stand up to ranch work.
And I just see it all the time with the horse shows. You know, somebody comes out with the brightest pink pad they own. They own more toned down pads, you know, or they have their silver show head stall.
Beaded silver head stall, yeah.
You know, something kind of wild. And then they always say the same thing. Well, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, you're at a horse show. It does matter.
It does matter, yeah.
You're not going to get DQ'd, but participate with it. And the same with like shirts. You know, if you're going to wear a Wilder shirt, you know, it just sets the tone. And I think that's the biggest thing with the Romals, all that kind of stuff. Just make your look nice.
Yeah.
You know, you're at a horse show. That show part is part of the name. And I think with the Romals, going into like what to do with them, play around with different, you know, there's so many different colors or different styles. You can get rolled leather with rawhide buttons on them. You can get natural colors. You can get natural with different buttons. Like, there's so many options anymore that yes, we have them behind us. Like, there's options galore.
There's some natural with dark colored buttons.
So if I have a really dark horse,
there's some natural with
and he
black
moves
accents.
his head a lot, I'm going to tone down the reins a little bit. Or vice versa, if I have a Palomino, I might keep the naturals. There's so many options to it. You
That's
know,
a head
look
stall,
good.
but that's the caramel color that's quite popular right now for Romals.
And they're popular with the Romals because as that horse is moving, you know, let's say he's loping and long trotting, it's not that big flashy color in there. Some horses look good in it, some don't. And, you know, try them. The one thing I will say about Romals, you know, try the cheaper ones. I mean, I get it. Like, Romals are one of the things that you want to spend a little bit of money on, invest in them. Good Romals are such a nice feel. Cheap Romals are not a wonderful feel. I know I get texts, not all the time, but regularly enough, somebody wanting to buy some cheap ones just to try. If you just want to try Romals, you're actually better borrow somebody's decent pair. Take very good care of them.
Learn how to take care of them first.
You know, and ride in a decent pair and get the feel of them. And we've done it for years with the Rainers. I mean, I've rode Romals before ranch riding. Before ranch riding was a class.
Yeah.
And we showed Rainers in them before they were popular. But the horses get so broken between the reins. They're a wonderful training tool. They're a wonderful showing tool. Do you need to go out and invest in a pair? No, you can still participate with split reins. You know,
And you're not going to be docked at all. Your
will not
ranch
be
horse
docked.
appearance is not going to be docked at all.
I've showed a couple this year in split reins. I just felt they...
I have too. One time because I forgot to bring Romals. How embarrassing.
Okay, there's a...
How embarrassing from somebody who sells them and
Where
teaches.
did you go that you forgot your Romals?
I think it was the quarter horse show just up here, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah,
That's kinda funny.
I know because I was looking at the pictures the other day and I was like, yeah, I showed them split reins there just because I forgot. And actually, I forgot to bring my own Romals to the World Show and at the World Gens. I'm batting 1,000 for remembering my Romals this year.
There you go.
But it didn't dock anything. It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. You should show in whatever works
And
best
if you're
for
going
you
to
and
show
your
in
horse.
Romals, ride in them at home so much that you get comfortable holding them.
Yeah.
It is a different way to hold them. And you want to make sure that you're comfortable. And this goes with different saddles, show pads, chaps, hat, Romals, show head stalls on the horses.
Everything.
Every single thing. I've seen so many people change the show head stall on a horse. The earpiece flops because there's some silver on it, and that horse is running around the show pen, shaking her head.
Yeah.
People showing, they don't normally wear a cowboy hat. They're in the show pen, and you can just tell they are uncomfortable with their hat or chaps or whatever that's different. Riding them enough at home that you are comfortable. I did one the other day. I have a young horse that I'm going to show who is extremely ticklish, touchy-feely on the belly, whatever term you want to use. And I just rode her around at home in chaps for a few days. And I'm sure whoever drove by the riding pen
thought you were overdressed.
Yeah, thought it looked like a Yahoo. But, you know, just wear them so that, A, the horse gets used to them.
Yeah.
And the person gets used to them. Because it changes, you know, how you feel. I mean, I don't think I change in my chaps. Me, myself, my chaps fit me and are comfortable. And B, I'm used to them enough. But I definitely noticed the filly, you know, at first was just a little, them fringes being near there. And the funniest one that I always forget till I get to a horse show is I hang my chaps over the horn of the saddle all the time. And them young horses, you hang one over the side of that horn, and then chaps are kind of flopping in the wind. You want to make sure they're used to it. You know, get yourself and your horse used to all that stuff.
Yeah.
Romals, get so comfortable with how to hold them in your hands.
You know, the other thing when you're saying about, like, you want to invest in a good set of Romals, you don't want to, you know, get just a cheap set. There's a lot of really cheap sets that are out, you know, that are available. And if you don't know what a good set is, it's easy to just go for the ones that are at a lower price point. One of the things that we have always tried to encourage our customers to do is, if you want to try them and you can't borrow them, let's say, or you have borrowed them and now you want a set of your own, buy a pair of the rolled leather Romals, because those ones are a lower price point. They're still a really nice rein to use. They're still, they still hang nicely. They're, you know, they're comfortable in your hand, and they are, what are ours, $169, I think. So they actually cost less than a lot of the cheap ones. Like, a lot of cheap pairs of Romals are right around $100 or $200. Buy a pair of the leather ones, use them, get used to how you use them and how you put them on and take them off so that you're not wrecking them, because you do wreck them when you just flip them in and out all the time. Get used to using those ones, and then buy your set when you're ready to invest in a good set of rawhide ones. These ones that we have here are right around the $700-800 mark. Then when you're ready to invest in a $700 or $800 pair of reins, you know how to use them, you know how to hang them. You can still use your leather ones at home most of the time, and then you can put your rawhide ones on when you show. You always have the leather ones to go back to save your rawhide ones. If you have a week that's 40 degrees like we did last week, you can ride in your leather ones and save your rawhide ones.
And I have shown a lot of horses in
And yes, you
leather.
are allowed to show them. Somebody said, am I allowed to show them those? Yeah, you're allowed. They
I've
don't
showed
care
a
whether
lot of
they're
horses
kangaroo
in-
or they're what they are, just as long as they're Romals or split reins or the Basel.
I
or
love
the
my
terrain.
leather Romals. I use them more than I use rawhide at home.
Yeah.
I really like them, and I've showed a bunch of horses in leather Romal reins just to keep from cheating on those things and playing with the reins. It, you know, and put a lot of people in them too. And
They do. I know they do get wrecked. Like, we have a couple sets that we use for lessons and stuff, and they get wrecked because people don't know how to use them, and they forget, and they flip them in and out, and after a little while, you know, they get twisted up, or the little connector part comes apart, or whatever. Excuse me.
but yeah, at $100 and
me.
some bucks.
But yeah, at 100 and
My biggest
60
one
bucks
is
or
I noticed
something.
with the Romals, people will loop them over the weirdest way.
you might as well wreck those
And
ones,
they break, yeah,
or
like-
use and abuse those ones, and then keep your other ones good. Yeah.
I think the leather Romals are likely more important than the rawhide one. Like, if I was going to buy one pair.
Me too.
And not just the Dutchin, me being cheap, but I would buy a leather pair
Me too.
first, and then the rawhide is at my
Yeah.
splurge. But when I go to rawhide, well, even
But I'd buy the leather ones
buy good ones.
10 bajillion times before I'd buy a cheap pair of rawhide ones, those
Right.
plasticky junk.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which you don't know until you use them. You don't know, unfortunately. You don't know until you...
Well, and every tack store just has the one.
Just has, yeah.
You know, a lot of tack stores aren't going to carry high-end rawhide because
Yeah.
they're expensive.
They are.
But they're good to ride in. They're good to show in. The leather and the rawhide have their places on certain horses too. I think that's another one. I think a lot of times, getting back to the actual question, so many times people, you know, oh well, so and so's riding in this, to the good and the bad. You know, well, so and so's riding in a silverhead stall, or we don't see splint boots as much anymore. That when it first came out, we see so many people.
Everybody was riding in splint boots, and the rule book actually said you can't.
Yeah, and they'd always, well, so and so did. Well, read the rule book. Don't ask your buddy who has not read the rule book either.
Yeah.
But they are a cool look, and they're so good for getting.
So okay, so if you were a reiner and you did not ordinarily ride in a back cinch and a breast collar, you had a nice reining saddle that maybe didn't have a whole lot of silver on it, and you wanted to try the ranch classes, would you invest first in a set of Romals, or would you invest first in a breast collar and back cinch?
I'd go Romals.
You would?
From my point of view, if you do not like the ranch, I mean, we like the ranch, but that doesn't mean everybody does. If you did not like the ranch and you were never going to ride in a back cinch ever again, we're a little different because even, like, we ride everything in back cinches, we ride whatever, but if you were going to put a piece of equipment away, you would never use a back cinch again. The Romals, you can help your reiner get more broke. You can train with your Romals. You can show with your Romals.
Yeah.
You can get them more broken Romals. So I feel like it would be a better piece of equipment to buy if you were just going to try it on a whim. What about you?
I'd probably buy leather Romals, but I probably would get, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what point you're at and like wanting to try it. But like, I feel like it makes more sense if you're going to invest in something to invest in the thing that the rule book recommends. If you already have split reins, you already know you can go show on your split reins. Buy your breast collar and your back cinch so that you have what the rule book recommends, and then you can invest in your Romals.
You just have to argue with
I don't know. I mean, it's tricky. I think either one is good, but I definitely think that people need to consider what they're investing in if they want to try the ranch, not to forget the breast collar and the back cinch. It's equally, if not more important than the Romals. Just the Romals are a cool way to get your horse more broke.
Yeah, I just look at it as like if somebody's trying,
Yeah, no, that makes sense too, I think.
I think reiners should use Romals more.
Yeah.
So there's a part of that.
Yeah.
But I also think most horse people, just for safety, I feel like should ride in breast collars and back cinches more.
And if you're buying a breast collar and a back cinch, make sure that you don't just do your back cinch up and hop on. Let your horse get used to your back cinch.
Yeah, once they're used to it, you're good.
They're not used to it. They need a little bit to get used to it.
I think when you're trying the event, though, even if it involves borrowing some equipment, I mean, we do it all the time, and we lend people stuff. You know, hey, you're gonna try this? You know, here, try it with this.
Try it.
Give it a whole effort in trying. You know, don't just kind of hop in here and see what happens. Give the full effort of, hey, I'm gonna make this thing look right. Same with you. If you're gonna try a reiner, you know, look the part, be the part. Truly try it. You know, give it an honest shake, and you'll appreciate it a lot more.
Okay, I hope that answered all your questions about Romals and whether you really have to show in them in the ranch classes. And if you have further questions, don't forget to leave them for us. We will circle back and get to those. If you have questions for a future live, you can send those in to us. You can write them in the comments. You can send them to our email at hayeskofellph@gmail.com. And if you're interested in buying a pair of Romals or breast collar, back cinch, anything for your reining or your ranch riding classes, then let us know. You can check out all of our tack at reiningtackcanada.com. or you can just shoot us a message and we'll do our best to help you.
Or we can just Vanna White it right
Yeah,
here.
there's not a lot of stuff up here behind us right now, but we do have some good stuff. We have some really nice stuff put together. Curate a really nice collection for you. Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good week.
Have a good day.